Greetings, what is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with a live 1 vs 1 battle featuring Spawning in the East. Playing as the Overcommand West forces, it is going to be ronlg. And Spawning in the West, playing as the United States forces, it is going to be none other than StupendousMan. These two players, neither of whom I've cast before, so this should be exciting, entertaining. Looking forward to seeing what they're going to bring. Very much looking forward to seeing what Company of Heroes 2 is going to bring, seeing as how a lot has changed. It has been a long time since I've cast Company of Heroes 2, but there's been quite a few patches, lots of balance changes. I've spoken to a couple of players to get like a couple of like some idea of what's happened in the patches. Oh my goodness, smoke really is on the rear echelons now, not on the riflemen for US forces. So yeah, I've spoken to a couple of players to get some idea of how the game has changed since I've been away. It's been a few months at least since I've cast any Company of Heroes 2. But I have not. I've made the conscious decision not to go back and look through the patch notes, because I figure it's been long enough that I just want to see how the game feels, see if I can, you know, detect differences and just see how the game flows, basically. And then probably after this one I'll go and read the patch notes and, you know, familiarize myself with the actual details of what's changed. But yeah, it's going to be nice to cast some Company of Heroes 2. It has been quite a long time. I cast a couple of games of Deserts of Karak this morning, but they were both quite one-sided and quite short, so I decided not to upload them in the end. Kind of a shame, because it was still fun to cast them, but I just thought that they weren't the best games to watch. Anyway, looks like the fighting going to get started in earnest here, as a unit of Stonepaners going to engage a unit of Riflemen, both units in cover here, and this ought to favour the Riflemen, of course, as time goes by. Riflemen here no longer with the smoke, so I'm just seeing, do they get anything new? Flare. Oh, okay, so they have flares because he's gone for Rifle Company? Yeah, okay, sure. Right, okay, cool, that's not a new thing. Good, good. Let's take a look at the tack here. Wait a second. Take two. Let's crack the tack. Looks like both players moving out onto the map. The Overcommand West player actually with a surprising amount of territory control. That is good for him. Going up to 3 squads bolts here. Going into his Schwer of a Max Schlepper just now. So we're going to look and see what kind of attack choice he decides to go for. These riflemen do want to be taking cover here, but the rear echelons of StupendousMan going to have denied that with the barbed wire. So nice to see that StupendousMan making use of all the little tips and tricks that you can make use of to gain value in these fights. Rifleman here kind of getting undone at point blank by Volksgrenadiers. That's pretty spicy. Wow, and Stormpine is on the fallback. He needs to, if he holds position here, or I would always hold position and just go for the damage on those riflemen. There's like a really teensy chance, I feel like, that if you hold position to get the better accuracy and rate of fire with the Stormpioneers, that you might have gotten a squad wipe on the retreat there. It's unlikely, but I like going for opportunities when they present themselves. Let's put it that way. So StupendousMan kind of getting the bad end of these early engagements. Going to be shifting onto a mortar team here, and that tube now getting set up. Going to start flumping rounds forward to the front. These Storm Pioneers a little bit clustered, actually. Bit of a mortar target there. They are going to move, so that's going to suit them quite well. Looks like an incendiary was cracked out to displace American forces from this building here, and things just going pretty badly here for StupendousMan. Another squad of riflemen going to be falling back here, and the majority of his forces, all except one squad, concentrated in his base, and that's never where you want to be. Forces in the north here, rear echelon's going to be making some ground, but they are the only thing that's going sort of profitably. They are really the only thing providing good value right now for StupendousMan, as ronlg going to be securing himself quite the resource differential here, plus 53 munitions, plus 26 fuel, over 21 and 20 respectively for StupendousMan. That's a nice place to find yourself in as well. Opening up the scoreline just a little bit here, leading as he does by 8 tickets. Nothing to write home about at this early juncture, but it's always nice to make some traction in the early game when you're playing as Axis, especially when you're playing as Overcommand. So, especially against US actually as well. Flamers beginning to pop up on some rear ash, so a little bit of spice being added into the ranks, and that will be nice here for StupendousMan. Looks like a 3/4 ton ambulance also here. So, what happened to that Vermax Schlepper? Okay, looks like we're going to have the battle group at HQ. Going to be deployed in base here for ronlg. So far, so standard, really, for our Overcommand player. He's actually banking a lot of manpower, so interesting to see what he's going to be using that for. I just heard a grenade being thrown. Okay, so another incendiary getting used here in mid to just keep this pressure on. And StupendousMan pretty much unable to find much space, unable to get much work done on the map. ronlg here, with a triple cap now established, has opened that score gap up to 31 tickets now. So, and that gap ever widening here.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Are these tickets ticking faster? Is that a change? Those tickets feel like they're ticking a little faster. That's pretty cool if that's a thing. I don't know, actually, I might be wrong. I might be wrong about that. They just seem like, it's just been so long since I played Company of Heroes 2. Those tickets feel like they're really ticking away.
Our riflemen will now be better trained before deployment.
So, looks like StupendousMan coming in here. He now does have a lot of extra units. Ronald, like, just like stacking a lot of resources. Why is he waiting here? He could, if he was waiting for, if he was stacking resources for Panzer Fusiliers, he could have them by now. So it's not that. I feel like 550 is a lot of manpower to be stacking at this stage in the game, because basically he's having to give up map control now. If I crack the TAC, you can see the territory control line on this map. The American forces here, the red, just pushing on up, and now outnumbering his opponent. Like, you know, this is a lot of infantry. It looks like he's going to go for an MG34 here as Ronald, but he could have had additional units on the field already, and he's having to give up ground, he's having to give up resources. His triple cap has now been destabilized, and I just feel that this is just because the American player has more resources, and in terms of actual units, has more units, and is leveraging them together with the fact that he's closer to the front because he's been on the defensive, so... I feel like this could all have been avoided, but the mortar tube gets caught out here. That is a setback for StupendousMan. Nice pickup for Ronald. Ronald. And StupendousMan continuing to make use of the abilities of his rear echelon. Going to deploy some tank traps in a kind of annoying position here. We'll see if they're actually going to provide any value as the game moves on. Storm Pioneer is going to get the drop on these rear ash, and the fullback does come down in good time here for StupendousMan, so he's going to save the squad. MG34 gets detected here. Rifleman going to put some fire on the weapon team. What's going on up here in the north? STG upgrades beginning to appear on these Volksgrenadiers. Lieutenant runs in. I think against the Volks at this range, that's going to be a close fight. Both players should be watching this one keenly to see who's going to have to fall back first. Incendiary grenade comes down for the bonus damage. Volksgrenadier does fall back. Both squads falling back. Could have had our first squad wipe there. But it looks like both players going to extricate their units intact. Ooh, these riflemen are going to have to fall back through these Storm Pioneers. Yeah, they're going to be fine as well. So StupendousMan doing a good job of overturning the advantages. Wow, Ronald is stacking like nearly 700 manpower and 120 fuel. Like, what is he doing? I just feel like fighting with 5 units against this American lineup you see in the top right is just going to be really tough if you're not spending your resources in a timely manner. Going to get another Schwerwehrmacht Schlepper. Okay. Alright. Alright, let's see what his plan is with this. You know, I don't... Like I said, I've been out of the game for a while, so I am like... My CoH2 sense is severely weakened presently, so I don't want to criticize anyone unjustly. I just feel like Ronald here just could have been slightly more on top of his spending, and it would have meant that he might not have had to have given up so much of the map as he has right now. Anyway, it looks like Flamer Rear Ash going to pick a fight here in the south. There's another unit of Flamer Rear Ash going to be grabbing the cutoff point here, so this is some really good work here for StupendousMan, who's totally pulled himself back into this game. He trails by some 60 BPs, 61 in fact, but that's not the end of the world. Here comes the Schwerwehrmacht Schlepper. That's totally going to get spotted by these rear ash. They could even get some damage onto it, but they're not going to actually.
Heavy machine gun team ready for
and I
orders.
think that Ronald will be wanting to get his cutoff back and then just deploy the Schwerer Panzer HQ in this location, enabling the flat gun to cover this this area here, which is, I mean, you know, any OKW player worth his salt out there knows that on Kolodny Farm you can throw your Schwerwehrmacht Schlepper in this sort of area and it's pretty good. It's actually fine here as well if he's going to go for that, but there's a lieutenant and a squad of riflemen coming in here. Uh-oh, I hope for Ronald's sake he doesn't spend the money here. Oh no, he's probably going to lose this Schwerwehrmacht Schlepper, maybe. They are quite expensive. Well, I mean, they're not free, let's put it that way. They're pretty cheap, but they're not free, and you never want to lose them. Other fights going on in mid. Looks like these Volksgrens going to get up on top of this American mortar tube. Forces the fallback, and that will buy a respite. Oh, and that's a squad wipe. As the American mortar here finds itself a victim, a squad of Volksgrenadiers, too closely clustered. Immediately replacing the Volksgrenadiers, also putting himself a Rakettenwerfer on the field here as Ronald. So not the end of the world. He does immediately replace the lost squad, and he does get the an AT solution here, which is nice. What's the tech of choice here for the lieutenant? Still, sorry, for the American player, still just lieutenant. Okay. This hasn't changed, right? Sorry, I'm just, because it's been so long since I've played, I'm literally checking to make sure that like units haven't moved about in which houses they live in. Okay. Yep, all looks good to me. Okay, so 50 cal now on the field for the American player. Finds itself some Volksgrens in mid. Oh, here comes that mortar. Oh, the American mortar just so horrendously accurate still. Getting great damage on, and if I crack the tack here, you can see that ronlg's position here is becoming increasingly compacted. Going to be on him to make a move here. Because, okay, looks like the Schwerpanzer HQ getting deployed in a backwards position. He just couldn't wait. What is this? Anti-aircraft mode. Focusing on anti-aircraft duties, the crew of the Schwerpanzer HQ will fire only at aircraft. That's a new one. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty useful too. I mean, that just sounds like a cool thing to have. I suppose that's strictly a nerf, right? Because it used to just do both.
A capture point is being overrun.
So, is that a nerf, or does that just give you more control? Because previously, sometimes the Schwerpanzer HQ would be firing at, like, aircraft when you want it to hit tanks, or tanks when you want it to hit aircraft? I don't know. Is this a buff or a nerf? Not sure. But anyway, it's an interesting new feature, and in any case, it appears to give more control to the player, and that's usually always a good thing, whether it's a buff or a nerf. So, I like this button. This seems cool. Storm Pioneer is going to grab a VP in the north, and this is really good for ronlg, who, despite having had a hard time these last 5 or so minutes in the game, still managing to stay comfortably ahead in the VPs. Actually, now leading by some 65 or so tickets. 62.
Battalion just released a major for action.
And that is major tech for our American player. So it looks like we could be seeing a fuel choice for him coming up at some point. Schwerpanzer HQ is finished. Still floating like 700 manpower here as ronlg. I mean, I guess that's fine.
We're losing a capture point.
Ooh, MG34 getting caught out here by the 50 cal in the church in mid. These Storm Pioneers now behind enemy lines, but they ought to lose this fight with the Rifleman just going to run on in, actually. Oh, Lieutenant actually means... Okay, this is a fight that ronlg needs to pull back from. And he does. Going to pass that test there. Wow, ronlg here just getting kind of the bad end of a lot of fights on the map right now. A lot of his units getting beaten and having to fall back. Tough times indeed. Obersoldaten, though, going to be the choice here for the Overcommand player, and I do like that. Obersoldaten ever vicious against Allied infantry, and when that Allied infantry is as valuable and elite as most of the American infantry, they're a nice unit. So I love this. I would actually even love him to get a second squad of Obersoldaten just based on the way the field looks right now. He does have a Rakettenwerfer. So if he goes second squad of Obersoldaten into either some kind of fuel choice, maybe Panzer IV or second Rakettenwerfer, then I think I like his position. Obersoldaten going to be committing down here. LMG-34 upgrade not presently taken. He has enough munitions for it though, so I would like to see that upgrade. It is like does add horrendous amounts of additional DPS.
WPM-110 smoke strike can be
Suppressive
delivered to cover
fire.
our men.
Ah, that's a new veteran ability, isn't it, for the Obersoldaten at rank 4? Oh, so they used to just get suppressing fire. Yeah, okay, so Obersoldaten at rank 4 used to just suppress enemies, and I'll be honest, that just felt horrendous for everybody. That just felt so dangerous. Like, Obersoldaten who made it to rank 4 were just like terrifying. They were such a game changer, to be honest. So now it looks like you have to pay munitions and click on a button to activate that ability, and let's be real, that seems fine, because it was really, really good before. And at Vet 4, you hardly ever see it. These Volksgrenadiers, though, at 3-star, they are going to fall back in time. Double Flammenwerfer up in their grill. It is sure to kill if you do not retreat, so looks like he's going to find that retreat. Another squad. Whoa, these two squads of Volksgrenadiers getting flamed down as well. Ah, this is tough times. A little bit of a needless incendiary there. Actually, going to burn himself down. And yes, we have a searchlight half-track on the field. So, has there been any changes to this unit? I doubt it, which means that I am mystified as to why it's been produced. Let's see. Scans for targets and fog of war. That's pretty much it. So, doesn't seem super exciting, but he has gone and produced the searchlight half-track, and I guess for rarity and kind of, yeah, the novelty factor, it's nice to see it on the field. Also, this camo. The evil eyes. Interesting.
We're losing a capture point.
Okie dokie. So let's crack the tack here. There's a moment of silence. Both players pretty much, as near as makes no difference, even on VPs. Looks like Ronald pushing in the north. StupendousMan just taking a second to regroup his forces, but they are moving through the center of the map just now. Going to be pushing up. And yeah, this game pretty much even right now. Ronald up to... So he added in a Lig infantry support gun. Has this changed? It can throw off smoke. Cool. Wow, from Veterancy 0. Wow, what? So Overcommand just gets smoke now? What? Well, that's a bit of a game changer. That's pretty cool. Oh, wow. So White Phosphorus going to come down on this MG34. May force a fallback. He can probably just walk that to the south here and it'll be fine, though. Yeah, there we go. Wow, this American Mortar Tube continuing to find value. Panzer IV here going to be the the fuel tech of choice here for Ronald. That'll be okay, but is that a Jackson we see coming, or is that a Sherman Easy-8? That looks like an Easy-8. So a Sherman Easy-8 going to be the choice here by StupendousMan. Where's that grenade?
Let's give them hell, boys.
Oof. So, okay, well, Easy-8 versus Panzer IV, that's obviously going to favour the Easy-8 to begin, until that Panzer IV can get some veterancy up. So... I think Ronald here going to be on the back foot for a little while longer. He still has this Rakettenwerfer, which basically hasn't been used, right? Like most of this game. And it's in a decent position, so if he gets a decent ambush on the Easy-8, then who knows, anything could happen. Whoa, these riflemen, what's this ability? Fire up. Okay.
Tank support is
Alright.
here.
Sorry. my company of heroes 2 like casting levels have been severely reduced by my absence, but I'm catching back up. I'm getting back into it. I'm like clicking on all these units being like, what do these guys do again? Oh yeah, riflemen. Like, what are they like? Oh yeah. Wow, look, the light gun actually got someone. Wow, was that its first kill? Its second kill. Oh my goodness. The light gun is actually getting value. Wow, StupendousMan needs to pull this squad back, and he does. A lot of Volks Grenadiers, a lot of angry Volks here, going to be shifting on forwards. Here comes the Panzer IV. Looks like the Easy-8 has been committed up to the north.
Big push coming.
Got any new abilities? Have you Easy-8? Nope. Good. These Obersoldaten will never know how lucky they were not to get caught in negative cover by a medium tank there. These Obersoldaten should probably do something. This doesn't seem like what they want to be doing. There we go. Oh yeah, getting a little bit of a booby trap out on this point. Love it. I'm a big fan of booby traps. And actually, you know what? We're 10 command points and 18 minutes into this game, and Ronald's still not picking a commander, which I do like. Always nice to have that option in the bag. None of these commanders like especially epic in this circumstance, so I don't mind him waiting for now either.
Our supply line just got cut off.
So this Easy-8 going to see if it can find any value here in the south. Going to push back some Volks for now. Panzer IV comes forward, but hits a mine, and that is going to cause an engine stun. And now the Easy-8 here going to engage into a pretty weak Panzer IV. Okay, here comes the Rakettenwerfer, and that will force the Easy-8 back. Getting a penetrating hit on the frontal armor. Panzer IV bounces. And that is going to signal the end of this medium tank battle as the Easy-8 going to back on out of here. Getting some good damage though onto the Panzer IV. How much veterancy we've got here? About a third versus hardly any for the Panzer IV, so pretty efficient trade there. Oh, and the Obersoldaten get picked off. Not only do they get picked off, but the MG34 is dropped and looted. That is now a really spicy lieutenant squad with an MG34 and a BAR. Yeesh. There goes the booby trap, going to nearly take out a rear echelon squad, but not actually going to take them out. So this 3-star rear echelon trooper with their flamer going to remain alive to capture that point up in the north. A little unlucky perhaps for Ronald. Actually, I think with the way explosive damage works, that is not so unlucky. I think that is like working exactly as intended, and that will happen every time. Like, I don't think you get the squad wipe these days.
Rear echelon troops on the front line.
So yeah, that's a cool thing. Man, losing those Obersoldaten, that is quite the blow though. What are these infantry doing? Do they want to get in the building and try to get the... No? Okay. We're going to put down the incendiary here, but the Major is long gone and the Sherman just doesn't care. Going to get the fallback on the mortar and possibly on these rear ash. Panzer IV here getting repaired. Whilst the Rakettenwerfer, he probably wants to disengage camo because he wants that Rakettenwerfer to like be here, like right now. Maybe here. Panzer IV going to have a go at coming in from the flank. I think this is an okay opportunity. Looks like Ronald not going to go for it. I think if you bring the Panzer IV to here and the Rakettenwerfer to here, this is a reasonable poke at the Sherman, but kind of missed the timing there. Not the end of the world. This is still safe for Ronald, but he might have been able to have a go at the Sherman. Oh, I don't like the facing on this Panzer, though. Alright, going to trade evenly there. The Storm Pioneers not going to repair in the heat of battle. No, they are going to repair in the heat of battle. Rakettenwerfer going to cast a shot in as well. And now some good damage on this Sherman EZ8. Going to force it out of circulation for a little while here. As Ronald finally getting some work done here. Looking just getting a bit of traction. This is a tough game, though. Look at these forces in the top left. Then look at the forces in the top right. A lot of veterancy over that American army. They're very well equipped. And the American player with enough fuel here to be able to make enough fuel choice pretty soon. Actually, so is Ronald. So we could see some additional armor entering soon. Ronald here, I mean the scoreline's basically even still. Oh my god, American tanks repair so fast. So okay, here comes the EZ8. Panzer IV and Rakettenwerfer still in position though. I wouldn't mind just rotating this EZ8, sorry, this Panzer IV like 30 degrees to the left. Just like make sure that front armor is fully facing. It just looks a little bit neater. Whoa, the Storm Pioneers are an expensive unit that you don't want to lose. And Ronald will fall them back. Oh, they're running past the LMG-34 BAR Lieutenant though. It's super risky. But they are going to get out of there, so that's okay. Looks like the Panzer IV are going to push just a little. Whilst the Lieutenant here falls back to the north. Okay, EZ8 gets a cracking hit on the Panzer IV, and that is going to shift the balance of this medium tank battle for now. Panzer IV going to have to get back and find some heals. Storm Pioneers only the one squad right now, and they will be all the way back at base. So it looks like the Panzer IV may actually be out of circulation for a minute or more here, as it's going to have to find its way to those Storm Pioneers, then get repaired, and then come back. So there's a window of time here for StupendousMan. Let's crack the tack and see what he could get done here. So he's going to commit some forces to the north, mortar tube in a nice position. Going to split off the two flamethrowers to the south, and I like this too. Is he just building a fuel cache right now? Yep, going to build a fuel cache. Going to look to maximize his resource income. Going to be grabbing a second EZ8 here, going to be the armor of choice, and Ronald commits to a commander. Going to go for the special operations doctrine. So I'm going to bring that up onto the screen to refresh my memory as much as yours as to exactly what this commander provides. Okay, yeah, doesn't look like anything's changed on that commander. So I guess he's going to go for the Command Panther? Unless he's going for infrared STGs, that would be fun. He is going for infrared STGs. These oversold out and want to be getting to the front, though, losing time on that unit. But StupendousMan making a reasonable push here. Panzer IV gets committed to the south. Still not repaired, actually, so the EZ8 is going to transition here for the American player. Going to transition down to the south, looking to get more damage and possibly a kill onto this Panzer IV. Panzer IV would be wise to get out. Actually, Storm Pioneer is going to hook up with it in situ. And so that might not be too bad. Here comes the second EZ8 though, so having a Panzer IV at half health this far forwards without very much scouting infantry, I suppose you've got the Volksgrenadiers here, so this is probably a safe position to repair. Okay, here comes the EZ8, so Ronald knows now that the EZ8 is coming in. He's going to spot this second EZ8 in just a second. Was that a kill on those Volksgrenadiers? No, okay, he did get out of there. Okay, so two EZ8s on the field now. And if Ronald can survive till 225 fuel, which at the present rate of income would be about 2 minutes, as near as makes no difference, a little under, then he should be okay, because a Command Panther and a Panzer IV against two EZ8s is like super fine. He can, that's like doable. And the infantry fight, well, that's kind of breaking even right now. I think the American player has a pretty healthy advantage there, but if you can win the tank battle, that doesn't matter so much. Oversold Arton with infrared STGs, not so great against two Sherman EZ8s, so they're going to have to GTFO. As we crack the tack, you can see Ronald here forced back into a compressed position, but like certainly not out of this game by any stretch. So if he can just hold on for another minute, then he can get this Command Panther and start pushing. So this is damage limitation phase here for Ronald. He is hunkering down. Uh-oh, looks like the EZ8s are actually going to push on into the base a bit. Rakettenwerfer gets a nice hit, and that will force the mediums back for now. No particular damage being dealt here. A couple of Obersoldaten go down, but that's nothing to write home about. Ronald here with a healthy manpower float, so he's okay to reinforce them. And about 30 seconds now needed for that Command Panther, and then Ronald can look to make some moves out on this map. Okay, the Panzer IV going to be reversing in. That is a little awkward. Probably wants to change the facing on that unit. Already cost him some turret rotate time here. Both these players just kind of giving each other a bit of respect for now. The scoreline's still really close, so this has been a tight game. Looks like a fighting position here going to get set up here for StupendousMan. Instantly incendiary though. Ronald right on top of that. That's the sound of the Panzer IV moving in here from the south. The two EZ8s all the way up at the north right now, but they're going to come down to meet the medium tank, and we're going to have a little bit of a tank fight here perhaps. Where's the Rakettenwerfer in all this? Rakettenwerfer, just now moving out the base. So if that was in position, this would be a nice fight, but as it is, the Panzer IV just has to GTFO. Bang! Actually getting a nice hit. We could see a Panzerfaust come down to mobilize one of these mediums, and we do, and the Command Panther rolls in just in the nick of time. So a stricken EZ8 here could be the first big kill of the game, as the Panther getting pretty brave, going to chase on in. There have been no minesweepers, have there? Oh, this is one brave Panther, but he's going to go for it. The EZ8 on his last legs, and he's going to get the kill. Now he needs to extract his Command Panther before any more damage comes down onto it. Panther IV moving forward, but it's not set to target vehicles, so its turret is rotating all over the place, wasting shots against an infantry when you're in a tank battle. Rakettenwerfer is going to show up here, and this EZ8 in a totally bad situation, getting a bit spit roasted here by Axis anti-tank units, and that should be... I think both the Shermans are going to go down here. I can't see how StupendousMan is going to save them. There's a lot of American infantry here. He needs to remember to fall back. Ronald needs to fall back this infantry squad, and he does. The Command Panther has its engine broken, but there's not enough AT here to convert that. And Ronald takes a fantastic fight in the middle of the map here on Kolodny Farm. Sets himself up with a commanding lead here at 86 supply over 35. And kind of just breaks the back of the American forces here. StupendousMan sent reeling and is now up against the ropes. Has to fall back with all his units. Ronald, most of his infantry at the moment, back home having to reinforce and get healed. But once he is able to put these guys back onto the front line, he should be able to expand, take some map control, look to start swinging that scoreline. Actually, speaking of which, an MG34 going to start swinging that scoreline right now. And just a really nice fight here for Ronald. So what's the plan for StupendousMan? Well, he falls back, he reinforces his units, he's got a Jackson on the build queue, and that is, like, right now, that is the Hail Mary Jackson. It is all in on this Jackson. If he loses the Jackson, the game is probably done. So this Jackson pretty much representing the last lifeline here for StupendousMan. Now, he does have another angle of attack. He can use the Jackson to hold off these two tanks, the two German tanks. But he's unlikely, with this current force roster, to secure a tank kill, barring a mistake from Ronald. But what he can do is look to just chip away at the infantry lineup. American infantry is still really good. He's got plenty of veterancy. His infantry well equipped with weapons that are quite good at getting squad wipes. You know, flamers, BARs, LMG-34s. A momentary lapse of concentration from Ronald could see him lose some of his core infantry. And a Panzer IV and a Panther tank are not very good if you've lost a lot of your core infantry. So that's the two angles of attack here. Either the Jackson somehow gets some tank kills, or buys enough time for StupendousMan to get himself some more armor and have another try at taking the tank battle, or StupendousMan is able to get an infantry advantage and kind of like negate the value of the Axis tanks that way. We'll see what happens here. Obersoldaten getting flamed up as they try to cap this middle position. They will be forced back. Command Panther has now been repaired. That one going right back to the front. The Panzer IV actually just now starting to get repaired. The repair package has been bought for the Storm Pioneers, so they're going to be able to repair this one pretty promptly here. 2 stars of veterancy on that Panzer IV as well. Very nice here, Ronald. Command Panther rolls up into mid, and that ought to enable the Axis player to grab that VP. The Jackson makes his presence announced. Doesn't get any damage on the Panzer IV, but now Ronald knows about the Jackson. Meanwhile, in the north, looks like Rifleman going to be grabbing this VP back, having forced back a unit of Volksgrenadiers for Ronald. So, doing his best to kind of stay in the scoreline here as StupendousMan. He still has a bit of a lead right now, but with the force advantage on the field for Ronald, he has to be concerned about the scoreline moving forwards here as the American player. Actually, he may even retake the middle VP here, so this is nice. The Axis forces basically... he needs to cycle these units back. The Obersoldat and the Rakettenwerfer are ready to go. The Volksgrenadier need reinforcing and sending out. It's super easy for me as a caster to be like, man, you could have done this thing faster. But I mean, the simple fact is, you're losing a lot of value there, Ronald. And right now, this is the crucial part of the game where every lifeline you hand your opponent can completely change the outcome of the game. So if I sound critical, it's because these things do matter. Jackson going to come back in here. So the Jackson, I hear, has been substantially buffed. I think the power of its shots has increased. So it now takes 1 fewer shots to kill a Vet 0 Axis medium tank, like a Panzer 4 basically. I hear that that's a thing. It takes like 3 shots now instead of 4, or 2 shots instead of 3, something like that. So yeah, more powerful gun on the Jackson. I hear that the Jackson now basically capable of even soloing a Panther if nothing goes wrong. That's what I've been told. I haven't actually looked at the numbers. I don't know actually the details of what's changed, but I hear that Jackson's now quite the mighty tank hunter indeed, and very much more substantial an answer for Axis late game armor configurations. So it will be interesting to see exactly what that Jackson's able to do. So far actually missing a lot of its shots, so hard to judge right now. Another Sherman EZ-8 going to be coming out soon to pair up with that Jackson. And that will basically mean that StupendousMan has got his shield back up. This phase of advantage, which Ronald was able to swing off of the back of the last major armor battle, kind of coming to a close here as both forces pretty much back in balance now in terms of overall strength. Big fight here in mid. Rear echelon's going to be trying to do their best, but it's not enough. Panzer IV able to push them back, and if he can just secure this VP, Ronald in an okay position, to be honest. He does need to secure this VP or the northern one, because right now the scoreline's static, and that is not where he needs it to be. Okay, so here comes that EZ-8 now. Looks like, where's the Rakettenwerfer right now? Okay, Rakettenwerfer not going to get in the church because that thing's way too damaged. Okay, Rakettenwerfer going to get a shot here into the EZ-8. You have to think, ooh, good hit there. The Panther tank also getting some good hits. Panzer IV going to inch forward, looking for a shot here. Whoa, this EZ-8 just taking a ton of damage. Can the Rakettenwerfer get a final shot? No. But that EZ-8 gets forced out. Jackson here, going to look to take some shots at long range. Boom! A hooning shot smashes through the front armor of the Panzer IV. But there's just a lot of Axis armor here, too much perhaps. And also, this Jackson is not set to target vehicles, so it's wasting shots at these Storm Pioneers. Whoa! Bouncing a shot off the front of the Panther here. But that's going to warn Ronald, he does need to get this Command Panther back. How much veterancy on the Command Panther? Like 1.5 stars. I would love Ronald to look at getting another squad of Storm Pioneers soon, because he's had the one squad this whole game, and now that he has 2 tanks, he needs more. Wow, the Jackson getting some great damage on this Panzer IV. Panzer IV going to GTFO for now. Jackson stalks forward a little, but doesn't want to overcommit. Gets another nice hit on this Panther. The Jackson's power beginning to kind of show its teeth a little bit here. The Rakettenwerfer gets taken out and looted by the American forces. So now with a Jackson and an EZ-8 and a Rakettenwerfer, I feel like the American forces are actually in a great spot. The composition for the American forces actually just really good. I actually love this American army now. It looks really good against this Axis force. Don't get me wrong, Ronald's still in a great position. A Command Panther is always good, especially one that you're nearly about to have 2 stars of veterancy over. And a Panther tank, a Panzer IV pairs up with the Command Panther really nicely. Lots of veterancy still on his core units. These Volksgrenadiers taking a lot of fire though, does get them out of there. So as long as Ronald doesn't hemorrhage any of these vetted up cool infantry squads, and as long as he gets a second squad of Storm Pioneers like soon, I think that's a really good choice. I think he's okay. He does need that second squad of Storm Pioneers though, because these tanks are sitting around for a long time not repairing. His Storm Pioneers have not been on repair duty exclusively. They've been fighting, so they're out of circulation a lot whilst they have to fall back and heal and reinforce. And when they're your only source of repairs on your tanks, that is tough. That is tough for the Axis player. All this value he has in tanks, not really being used right now. And that is problems. He really needs those second Storm Pioneer squad, actually. Where are his existing Storm Pioneers? Okay, they're just coming forward to repair now. He could even look at getting the mechanized HQ, because that would... he could buy engineers for it, and that would be okay. But, I mean, just more Storm Pioneers. Got to be the better choice. And, you know, he's looked after his manpower flow, as Ronald, so he has the resource to go to commit to those Storm Pioneers if he wants them. I think the longer this game goes on without that second Storm Pioneer squad, actually, the more concerned I am. 3 stars of veterancy now on this Panzer IV, but there's a lot of anti-tank forces. Where's the Jackson? Okay, the Jackson is actually idle in the north. But this Panzer IV, sorry, is like super wounded. That is like danger times for this tank. And it's a nice tank, 3 stars of veterancy. You don't want to lose that one. Needs repairing. These tanks becoming super inefficient because the repairs just aren't there. Oh no, now the Panther is moving instead of being repaired. Okay, so he has the mechanized HQ. Engineers are done on it, so he can actually repair his tanks by just parking them around here. And I like this a lot. Having a forward repair base in this position makes me feel so much better about Ronald's position. I am no longer so concerned. He does have himself pretty well set up here. Scoreline 2-6-4 apiece, so exactly even. What a fantastically balanced game we've seemingly jumped into. These players very well matched. And let's see, 87 supply for the American player, so can he add an easy 8? Which supply is an easy 8? 14, yeah, so he can't actually fit an easy 8 right now. Like, one more easy 8 makes this American army really scary. But then it pretty much represents a super maxed out, super vetted up late game American force, like the kind of thing that is the nightmare of Axis players everywhere. So if he can like just sacrifice something like one man would do and grab an easy 8, that would be a pretty nice thing to do. Panzer IV gets committed up into the north, and it's basically unsupported. There are some Volksgrenadiers here, but that's not a lot. Jackson gets into a fantastic position to apply pressure, and the engine does get broken by the anti-tank grenade from these riflemen. So this is now a limping Panzer IV. Will the Command Panther come up? The Command Panther idle right now. If the Command Panther engages on this line here, comes up, he could get some nice flank shots. The Panzer IV is just totally stricken right now, and I don't think there's going to be any saving it. He doesn't have the armor, and that one's going to get taken out. Bit of a mistake, committing the Panzer IV with insufficient support in the north, and quick to take advantage. StupendousMan finds an opening, and that is well played. Ronald has the fuel and the manpower to replace these losses, but I mean, that was a 3-star vet Panzer IV. You basically never ever want to lose that. Oh, now the Command Panther gets fed in as well. There is no support for this Command Panther. Where's the Jackson? It's repairing somewhere. I don't actually know where the Jackson is right now. It's repairing. Hang on, what? Okay, I take it back. The Jackson was traded for the Panzer IV. I totally missed that. That is my bad. Oh my goodness. Fresh back to casting Company of Heroes 2. It's gonna happen. At least I didn't miss a sniper dying right in the middle of my screen and then just be like, where's the sniper gone? Because that's like my usual trademark when casting. But okay, so the Jackson being traded for the Panzer IV means that this game is still dead even. These players still very well matched. In fact, to be honest, trading a Panzer IV for the Jackson is like... That might actually, even though it was a 3-star Panzer IV, that might actually just be really good for the Axis player. Obersoldat in here in a bit of a bad spot. Gonna have to think carefully. They toss the bundle grenade. The bundle grenade looks good. Gets some okay damage, but actually no fatalities. And the scoreline beginning to open up a bit. This could be the beginning of a problem here for Ronald. He does trail by like 80 odd VPs now, and that could be a problem as we move into the pretty late game stages of the game here. Okay, so another easy 8 going to be the choice here for StupendousMan. Not going to replace the Jackson. Controversial. And a Werferman going to be the choice here for Ronald. So these two players going very different routes here. 2 easy 8s against 1 Command Panther is actually fine. And the Werferman doesn't really help in that fight either, so... Wow, StupendousMan also making moves here. He controls the north of the map, and he has just basically cleared out Axis forces from the south.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
So, okay, here comes the next Sherman Easy 8. Rolling them on out.
The capture point is being overrun.
So... Okay, so he gets them from, and if he can get a Panzer IV after this, and he basically does have the money for that, then I think that Ronald's position is kind of pretty good, as long as he can get some control on these VPs. Oh, he's going to find himself under a triple cap here as Ronald, though. So this is risky times for our Axis player here. He needs to get, like, one more tank. Donk. I like it. Finding hits, but no damage on these tanks. Yeah, Ronald needs to get himself, like, one more tank. And then he needs to make a go of it for the late game. Obersoldat and find their way onto the northern VP. So something going right. Whoa, Storm Pioneers getting mowed down. That's going to be a squad wipe. Berg. Oh, he can ill afford to lose his Storm Pioneers at this point in the game. So Ronald here. Uh-oh. Allied infantry beginning to push through mid, and Ronald's position just becoming increasingly compacted. He's in a pretty bad way here. He doesn't have that Rakettenwerfer that he had earlier on in the game. That's actually still in the American roster. So, oh my, whoa, is the Panzer IV? Okay, sorry, I thought the Panther was going to chase through mid, but it isn't. That's good. But yeah, without the Rakettenwerfer, these two Easy-8s are actually a problem, because whilst the Command Panther is good against Easy-8s, it doesn't actually have like that high of DPS, and there are two Easy-8s here, so if the American player just decides to shove, he pretty much can, and all he needs to do is maintain control over these VPs. Capping the one in the south, though, is Ronald, so that's really good for him. He just needs to keep eating away at these VPs. That is a requirement right now. Oh no, the Oversoldat getting horrendously cut off. Two Easy-8s in fantastic position. Command Panther, though, also in a fantastic position in the rear armor of these Easy-8s. Does find a nice shot there. Goes up to 2 stars of that.
M110 smoke strike can be delivered to cover our men.
And the Oversoldat will be able to extract safely. I think losing the Oversoldat there may have been backbreaking. But as things are, that's fine. The Werferman is on the field, though, and has not taken its opening barrage. So look to see that come down.
One of our fighting
Here it comes.
is sustaining fire.
Alright, it's going to announce his position. You've got to think he's going for the ambulance here. The American player straight on it, immediately falls back everything. The ambulance gets taken out, but that's not the end of the world. That is super replaceable. And, yeah, that's actually fine for the American player. I don't mind losing the ambulance. He's going to replace that one straight away, not even giving that much veterancy onto the Werferman. So, nicely, he was straight on. As soon as he heard those rockets firing, all that infantry was just like, run! And that is the appropriate response. Looks like at some point the mortar was taken out. I missed that. Perhaps the light gun picked it off. I don't think the Werferman got it. But anyway, that American tube, which has been such a thorn in Ronald's side, has been taken out. The veterancy will be lost from that squad. So that's something. But still under a double cap. Trailing now by 141 tickets. And this is quite a sticky situation here for the Axis player Ronald, whose manpower bank has been eaten away. Gonna go for a second Panther tank, though. Ooh, spice. Okay, well, with 2 Panther tanks, this is back open. With 2 Panther tanks, those 2 Easy-8s have to be super careful. 2 Panther tanks is nice. I like this. It's just, does Ronald have enough time here to win this game, or is he going to be forced out? American forces here looking to establish a triple cap, but Ronald manages to grab mid. So doing all he can to stay in this game, and his second Panther is now active. Rolling onto the field just as soon as he can lose some men. Uh-oh, Ronald making a slight error here. Doesn't actually have the supply to grab this unit, so he's going to need to like let some infantry die so that his Panther can come onto the field. Oh, nice squad wipe.
Just lost a unit.
Whoa, bundle grenade off of the Oversoldat and doing work against those riflemen. Brutal stuff. And it looks like Ronald's going to get control of the southern VP here momentarily. Nice. Nice. He just needs to free up some supply. Does he have any units that he can just do without? I think now is the time to just pick up the light gun and just walk it into your opponent's base. You don't need this thing. Yeah, it's got 16 kills. Yeah, it's got 3 stars of veterancy, but I would just rather have a Panther tank right now. And also, light guns. Are they still worth, like, tons of supply? Are they still, like, 7? Actually, that's gone down, right? 7 doesn't seem as... I feel like they used to be less. I mean, more, sorry. So, okay, anyway, though, he can just, like, walk that light gun into his opponent's base and get a Panther. I think that's fine. Because a light gun at this stage in the game is so low impact. And you've got a Werferman, which is, like, if you really need to put down some heavy boom, you can use the Werferman. Oh, and we hear the Werferman firing now. Where's that going? That is a flat miss there. The Werferman's second barrage, somewhat disappointing. Does take out this building for what that's worth, but not a lot, I think, is what that's worth. So, okay, the second Panther does manage to squeeze itself onto the field. What does the Command Panther do at 2-star? Veteran tanks, armored skirts. Command Aura increases weapon accuracy. Alright, so this Command Panther now beginning to increase the weapon accuracy of other tanks around it. So the pair of these Panthers likely to be pretty fierce. What happened to the Easy-8s, by the way? There were like 2 Easy-8s. Where have they gone? Are they... Magpie, have you really missed the demise of 2 Easy-8s? No, they're just up here. Okay, cool. And we've got some kind of air support happening here. What could this be? Is that like the scouting run from the Major? Oh my god, the Major here. Arrgh! Gets wasted by the light gun.
They got wiped out.
Oh no, it wasn't the light gun. Still has 16 kills. Just kind of looked like the light gun. Okay, these Storm Pioneers need to run now. That's too much Decker. Get out of there. 112 points under 239. The middle VP right now, the point of contention. That light gun needs to put its shells down in this position, I think. MG34 in a nice spot though here for Ronald. 3-star vet on that LMG as well, actually. That's nice. Panther tank gonna roll forwards here at its fastest scenario. A Jackson and 2 Easy 8s though. Ugh. So even with 2 Panthers, this is pretty tough. They are set to prioritize that armor, which is what they need to do. And here they come. Whoa, the Command Panther getting really antsy, gonna race on out here. Some hits getting inflicted, but these Panthers can take them for now. Not inputting any damage onto the American armor though. That's going to be the real problem here for Ronald, as this fight beginning to turn sour here for the Axis player. Does score himself finally a couple of good hits on the Easy 8, and also a reprieve in terms of the scoreline, managing to grab as he has mid and south. But this game is just close. This is like so closely balanced. Wow, these Storm Pioneers really want to be repairing. You want to get these Panthers repaired, bro. I would even pull one of them back, like pull the Command Panther back and get some repairs on it. Rakettenwerfer gets detected in mid and will have to fall back. Nice shot from the Lig. I know I said that the Lig is like the most expendable unit in this army, and I still stand by that, but since I've said that, I've seen some nice hits get put down. Werferman here is ready, looking to take another barrage. So some rear ash get deflected from south, so Ronald able to maintain his hold over 2 of the victory points on this map. Looks like the American player going to make a move into the north with this armor. Wow, no metal detector or anything. It's just kind of cool, like moving his tanks around like this. Oh my goodness, the Easy 8's just doing a number on these bolts. 5-star bolts in jeopardy here, but they will get out. So a nice save there for Ronald. MG34 just still being annoying. I guess that StupendousMan would love to have his mortar tube still alive right now. Okay, here comes the Panther. Command Panther right now is a little further back. Werferman taking a shot. Where's it going to land? Does find the Jackson, getting some damage on that unit. Rakettenwerfer sneaking forward to take this point, though. Will be detected by the infrared half-track. But this is difficult. That is a lot of AT for StupendousMan that is covering the middle VP. Oh no. You have to think that Storm Pioneer is going to die, right? Getting a bit lucky there, I think, is Ronald. A little bit lucky. And here come the American armor. That's 3 Easy 8s now. 3 Easy 8s and a Jackson. The Panther at the north is isolated, and StupendousMan sees it. He comes forward with the Jackson and an Easy 8, begins to focus the northern Panther. That Panther has to get out of there, so you should need to be kiting. The main gun is destroyed, and American tanks beginning to run amok, and the Easy 8 taken out in mid as the Panzer in the north is abandoned. Ah! Okay, that's just going to be destroyed here. Yeah. Okay, so StupendousMan gets the finishing touch on that Panther. Not going to let the Axis forces recruit. 5-star Volt Squad able to extract in time. Another Panther immediately rebought here, so nice work from Ronald. His Panther still racking up good hits and forcing back this American armor. Manages to even damage the engine on the Jackson. I don't think you want to take a dive on that Jackson just yet. Oh, these Volks need an ETFO, and they do. Such a tense situation. So many clutch moments for both players here being passed. And it looks like the American player is going to be forced to fall back shortly. Oh, this Command Panther on its last legs. But Ronald can't really afford to cycle it out. This light gun as well, like a single bullet away from being lost. Not that that would be a bad thing, that would be just fine. Oh, these Volks need to run, and they do. Oh my goodness. So many incredibly important vetted up infantry squads making it in and or out of these fights. Is the Werferman barrage is nearly ready. If he can barrage this location, that'll be amazing. I don't know if he knows that though. Come on, Werferman. Let's see if we can get this barrage. That would just be intense. But the American forces have, I was going to say they have field control, but no, Ronald somehow still controls north. What? So the scoreline's still tilting right now in the favor of the Axis forces. That's the Werferman. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's a miss. But he gets, okay, he gets the Rakettenwerfer. It's not too bad. Seemingly he has no interest in recrewing that Rakettenwerfer, actually. He's going to task his Panther on destroying that. Interesting. I think recrewing that would be pretty cool because, like, you've just seen how many... I suppose he doesn't have the supply to recrew it. But the American player has, like, a lot of armor. And 2 Panthers is, like, just not quite enough.
WPM-110
He really needs to repair this
strike
Command
can be
Panther as well. That is
delivered to
making me
cover our men.
nervous. So at 3 stars, the Command Panther so it now improves rate of fire and accuracy for the nearby Panther. So this Command Panther becoming a little bit of a force multiplier here for ronlg, who's still in this game at 107 under 179, 50 minutes. Well, say what you like about Company of Heroes 2 and any recent patches, but your typical game length still pretty long here in this game. Storm Pioneers are out here, they're going to be repairing as well. Annoyingly, they were unable to reinforce up to 4 men. In fact, quite a few of these squads unable to get to 4 man. 5-star Oversoldat! Oh, I didn't spot that. Oof, that is spice. Okay, Panther, what is this Panther doing? Okay. Okay, I think that was possibly a slight misclick or something from ronlg. Anyway, he spots it quickly. Volks in the north just going to get shoved away. Looks like StupendousMan able to get some infantry up onto south whilst ronlg is capping mid. So, probably... I don't think ronlg is going to be able to prevent this from being decapped. Command Panther is going to roll up into the hood though. And that should get rid of these rear ash. I don't know, actually, there's a couple of zoops on these rear ash. It's pretty annoying.
We're losing a capture point.
Oversoldat taking a bit of a dive forwards here. Love it. Man, just doing so much work. 5-star Oversoldat are like acid death for infantry. Okay, they need to fall back though because they ain't going to do anything to an easy aid. Come on, guys. Let's get out of here. There we go. Oh man, late game Company of Heroes 2 is both, both players shuffling their tanks back and forth, frantically repairing, frantically trying to get value in these armor battles. Oh, this is vintage. This is Company of Heroes 2 as I remember it. Brilliant stuff.
Rifle squad ready for
Boom.
action.
Take that, Jackson.
That's a heavy machine gun. We're losing a capture point.
I mean, the range on these Panthers, combined with the command tank buff, is pretty cool. If you could get this Panther, like, to here, that would be really nice. Oh, the command Panther comes out a little bit. Where's the Jackson? The Jackson actually forced off the line for now. Man, it's hard keeping track of just how many American tanks there are and, like, where they are. Finding some nice hits here. ronlg just exploiting these Panthers pretty well in that last engage. Also able to grab north, so 94 under 173, but still in it, looking to grab himself a triple cap, and this is what ronlg needs. This is what he needs to get back in the scoreline of this game. Werferman going to take a few shots, but that's got to be going back here, right? Okay, so the Werferman was used to deflect a squad here at the south. Seems like a bit of a wasted barrage there. If that was on a VP, I perhaps wouldn't mind, but since it's just on a random capture point, I don't know about that. Okay, here comes a strike. Let's see if ronlg's paying attention. Looks like White Phosphorus is going to rain down on his MG, which is now 4 stars. So he'll want to pull that unit back. Brrr, the White Phosphorus just doing a number on their health. And not going to lose the squad just now. The Axis tank's actually unable to see through this smoke, so not shooting this American infantry in mid just now. And this is just such a close battle. It literally just all comes down to the micro in these tank battles and the positioning and the positioning and micro. It's pretty much all it comes down to. Volks Grenadiers in the north, just kind of chewing up some ground. They could move forward if they wanted to, but they're probably okay where they are actually, just defending that northern VP. Man, this has just been like straight out of the top drawer. This has just been good Company of Heroes 2. Neither player making any massive mistakes, both just looking real spicy. I'm loving this. It's just really nice to see a game with like no massive errors and just high level play. Oh, doing the Bernie dance was that infantryman. Okay, so the American tank line is now fully repaired, takes up a commanding position on the middle VP. Hit and run tactics here from these two Panthers, who get a couple of nice hits into the Jackson on their way out the door. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and say that this Searchlight half-track has been pretty good this game. because it's detected the Rakettenwerfer that was stolen, like it was consistently detecting that, and it's giving Ronald so much intel. And when it's been alive this long, and it's been alive like at least half an hour, the small advantages provided do add up. Okay, the Oversoldat here. Oh no, that should be a dead Oversoldat squad. It'd be easy to fire here, but it won't. Uh-oh, could be a dead Panther instead though. 4-star Command Panther is pretty spicy. Your Werferman gets some hits on the tanks, but that's not spectacular. What's the 4-star bonus on a Command Panther? Improves unit range. Oh no, but now the Command Panther totally caught out. Oh, this is the last place you want it to be. Getting hooned on by 3 or 4 American tanks. Super wounded, these 2 Panthers. Uh-oh. This is so dangerous. If I was the American player, I would just be super tempted to just shove in that position there. Because these Panthers are like one-hitters. Wow, I think you want to repair the Command Panther, bro. Whew. Does he have any Storm Pioneers? Oh no! That means that Ronald is relying exclusively on his mechanized HQ to keep him in this game in terms of vehicle repairs, which is keeping him in this game. So that is actually a concern, because these tanks are going to take so long to turn back around and get back into full health to send back into the fight. I don't know about this. He needs Storm Pioneers. I mean, because look, the American tanks can just repair so fast. Having a dedicated repair unit built into each tank is such a good advantage to have. Yeah, bro, you need Storm Pioneers, don't you, Ronald? Uh-oh. Well, if he loses this game, I suspect it's because he's not going to be able to repair his tanks fast enough. This was my concern earlier on, but he did address it. Another Jackson? The American player is making another Jackson? Using the American, like, ability to... So, when your vehicle crews aren't in your tanks, they actually aren't really adding much to your unit supply, so... The American player here is able to buy additional Jacksons and just bank them up at the back of his base, or use them in fights or whatever he wants to do with them. Oh, that's pretty nasty. 78 under 119 now, the score for Ronald. Under StupendousMan, as this game gets incredibly close. Props to both players for keeping their vetted up infantry alive for quite a long time. There we go, now the American player at 102 out of 100. Because of the American vehicle crew shenaniganry. The Command Panther is now being repaired. The Panther is repaired. Ronald manages to grab mid, so he's totally still in this. As we move up for an hour now that this game has been rolling. So crazy. That's an AT, goddammit! Okay. Alright, here comes the American armor convoy, gonna get round. Okay, the command tank is here. He needs to kite immediately! Uh-oh! Oh, wow. I think he was a bit late moving that Panther back. Oh no, even hesitated, move forward. Okay, so the Command Panther will die here for sure. All the American player has to do is focus that down. He's gonna get 1 easy 8 for his troubles. And, what? Guys, kites! You've got to keep going! Oh my god, he gets 2 easy 8s! What is happening? Okay, there goes the Command Panther, but he can instantly replace that. He can instantly replace that. Ronald can instantly replace that. He should. Every second that there is not a Panther coming into the flank of these armor. Oh, wow. StupendousMan getting quite the lucky break here as Ronald not going to call in a Command Panther. See, that Command Panther could have already taken a shot or 2 by now, and that could have been a dead tank. So, okay, he does get the Command Panther out pretty promptly here. So, it's okay, I think. Where's the other Panther? Oh, goodness me, the other Panther gets jumped on by a Jackson at close range. Oh, God. Okay, losing this is not okay. That might be game-winning damage. That might be game-winning damage. We're going to see. This Panther here going to stay still and... Oh, a destroyed engine. Oh, no. HVAP rounds getting used as well.
A medium tank was just lost.
Oh, this is such a tricky situation for the Axis player. I feel like now with 1 Panther against 3 American armor units, or 2, is it 2 or 3? Does he have another Jackson banked?
Where's that coming from?
Okay, yeah, 2 Jacksons against 1 Panther. That's pretty bad for the Axis player, who is getting more Storm Pioneers, a little late, I fear. Because now he actually only has 1 tank to repair. I feel like that might have been the last big fight of the game, because how does Ronald retake this? He needs to... I suppose since both of the easy 8s died, Ronald's infantry is actually quite good right now, because the Jacksons can't really police infantry the same way an easy 8 can. So there's a window here where Ronald's infantry can actually run out and grab points, and there are no easy 8s to counter. And if there are no easy 8s to counter, it means that you don't need a Panther to take out the easy 8s. And if you don't need a Panther, the fact that your opponent's got got 2 Jacksons, like, isn't really worth so much if you're not committing your Panther into a fight. So there's actually a window here where Ronald has some like really vetted up infantry. It is all at full efficiency. You know, it's all at 5 men. It's all repaired. I mean, healed. So if Ronald pushes now, he can get some work done. I mean, he's at 37 and under a triple cap though, so it has to be right now. There may not even be time right now actually, because StupendousMan is grabbing the middle.
Continue the enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Okay, so Volks make it to north. In the south, looks like these Volks will get in. Incendiary gets spent. Oh, these guys are clustered. Here comes a frag. Little pineapple here.
Capture point is under attack.
Oof, could have been a squad wipe on those Volks. But they're going to survive. Okay, so Ronald doing what he needs to get done here. He should be able to decap this before he dies. So that means that Ronald will
Our fighting position now has some ordnance behind it. We're
not
losing
be
a
dead in
capture
this game,
point. Enemies
but it's
are
so
swarming
close.
one of our emplacements.
He could die at any moment here. Manages to decap mid, which is going to be important. Using Frangie smoke here to buy these Oversoul down a bit more time is cute. That's a cute play.
We are taking effective fire. Squad back. We're getting plastered.
Oh man, this is just a tense situation. How is Ronald getting a triple cap here? Okay, well, I mean, you know, hypothetically, if Ronald is able to maintain this position, he should win, but he has to maintain it for quite some time. And if he falters basically even once, he'll die because he's on 8. So what's happening at the north? Volks Grenadiers are going to get beaten by a 50 cal. That's bad for Ronald. In mid, looks like he's going to lose mid already, so that's bad for Ronald. Neither of these two things are fatal just yet, but this is bad. Whoa, where are these Volks Grenadiers going? Oh, they want to get an incendiary onto this mortar over there. Okay. And now the 2 Jacksons are going to shove through mid. The Panther is just sitting here. Nobody's been repairing it, so that's a real problem. That one's just going to get wasted by Jacksons here, you have to think. Run, little Panther. Nope, too slow, buddy. One of the Jacksons with engine damage, just in need of one more touch to destroy. And does get taken out.
We just lost a medium tank.
So trades a Jackson for a Panther there, so able to salvage something is Ronald, but he loses north, he's going to lose mid, and with that exchange, he ought to lose the game, as he will now be bleeding tickets, and he has only 8 to give. And so, I mean, can he really recap mid? No, there's just not enough time, right? Even if he gets, there's just not enough time. As StupendousMan knows it, he's going to sacrifice his lieutenant here to ensure he gets the win. There's just not enough time, is there? 3, 2, 1. That is close, but there's not enough time. Oh, he's actually going to move his Volks away. Yeah, okay, so there wasn't enough time. There just wasn't enough time. That is how close this game was to continuing, though. Whoops. If you look at that capture marker, like, that is... Ronald nearly bought himself another little window of time to play with, but even if he did, he's in a pretty untenable position. How has he managed to grab this easy 8? I wasn't paying attention. Wow. Okay, so Company of Heroes 2. I've been away for a while. It seems to be very much the same game. That's not a bad thing, though. I'm going to go and read the patch notes and see what's what. 1 hour and 3 minutes, that game. Jeez. Woo! Of constant back and forth and very, very tight play between 2 well-matched players. Congratulations to StupendousMan for taking this one away. That was a good game from him. Jackson's now quite the force to be reckoned with, aren't they? Very scary. And I think for Ronald, a couple of mistakes. One is the core of his army, like the like top tier of his army was the Panthers, the Command Panther and the Panther that he had alive for quite a long time, and before that the Command Panther and the Panzer IV. And he was just getting outdone in terms of how efficient those units were because he was unable to repair them and recycle them back to the front line as quickly as the American player could with his tanks. And there was a lot of stages in this game where I felt like one Pioneer squad was not enough, even with the repair, even with the mechanized repair. The mechanized this building. What is it called? Mechanized Regiment HQ. So I think maybe having 2 Pioneer squads would have been really good. And then there was another like stretch of the game after that where he had no Pioneer squads and was relying exclusively on the Mechanized Regiment HQ to repair his tanks. And that's just not enough tank repairs. When your opponent has 4 tanks, each of which can repair themselves really pretty quickly, you need more repairs than that. Otherwise, you're just going to lose all your armor. And if you lose all your armor, well, then it's really hard to win the game. So Ronald here, I feel like he could have used another squad of Pioneers. I'm going to go ahead and check how much unit cap a Searchlight half-track is. 5. Yeah, so given that a Searchlight half-track is 5, I mean, I was praising this unit for having stayed alive the whole game and been useful the whole game, and I don't doubt that the intel provided by this infrared half-track probably helped Ronald quite a bit in this game. But I still think that the 5 unit supply would have made it easier for him to have additional units of Storm Pioneers on the field, and they just would have made a much more tangible difference to the texture of this game. Having those tanks being able to repair much faster, literally, it just changes the rate of efficiency which those tanks can act, and you need them to be providing the maximum value possible. Otherwise, you lose the game. So, I hate to say it, but the infrared half-track here just should have been Storm Pioneers, I think. And yeah, more repairs generally, I think, probably would have been good here for Ronald. But, I mean, even having said that, this game was incredibly close, and Ronald put up one hell of a fight, so well played to you, good sir. Wow, that concludes this replay. It's super nice to get back to Company of Heroes 2, if I'm honest. It's been such a long time. And it's another nice thing about Company of Heroes 2 is it lets you just jump in and cast games off of the live game ladder, which is, as a caster, wonderful. So, yeah, I'll be looking to cast some more in the near future. Thank you very much for watching, and this for now is Magpie842 signing out.